My name is Bobby. My journey is now beginning. A journey that will take me to a strange and dark place, daytime TV, to a house called Collinwood, and a vampire named Barnabas. I like your cane, Barnabas. A man can develop a real swagger carrying something like this. On the contrary, Mr. Devlin, carrying this, one does not need a swagger. Hi, I'm Bobby, and welcome to Dusty Old Movies. I grew up loving the Universal monster movies like Dracula and Frankenstein. And by the time I was 12, I already had them all. And my birthday was coming up. So I was online to see if there are any spooky movies coming on DVD, and I came across Dark Shadows. I read the plot description, and to me, it sounded like a soap opera version of Dracula, which to me sounds amazing. So I asked my mom about it, and she used to watch it when she was a kid, and she got me volume 1 for my birthday, and I became completely hooked on it. Now, there are 1,225 episodes of Dark Shadows. I own them all. But for this review, I'm going to be focusing only on the first Barnabas storyline, which for the DVDs is Volume 1 through Volume 4, and for the episodes is Episode 210 to 365. It is a storyline that got me hooked on this incredible horror soap opera. One night in New York, the very macho producer Dan Curtis had a dream about a girl on a train riding towards a strange Gothic mansion. He turned his dream into a soap opera. The girl became Victoria Winters, and the house became Collinwood, which was inhabited by the Collins family in the town of Collinsport. And the show aired Monday through Friday at 4 in the afternoon on ABC. And the ratings were horrible, and they were going to be canceled. So Dan came home one day, and his kids said to him, "Daddy, why don't you make the show spooky?" And he thought, what the heck? We're going to go off the air anyway. Might as well have some fun with it. So the next day, he changed the storyline to include a ghost. And the day that episode aired, the ratings went up. And since that worked so well, Dan started making Dark Shadows spookier and spookier, and the ratings kept getting better. And after about a year, he thought back to what had scared him the most as a kid. And like me, it was Bela Lugosi as Dracula. So they created their own vampire, Barnabas Collins. Barnabas made Dark Shadows into a phenomena. Kids everywhere were running home from school to watch it, and there was even a Miss American Vampire contest. With this success, Dark Shadows took on an all-out approach to the supernatural, bringing on witches and even time travel. But this was the storyline that started it all. Two crooks, Jason McGuire and Willie Loomis, have invited themselves into Collinwood. Jason has been blackmailing Elizabeth due to some secret in the locked room of the basement. Meanwhile, Willie has gone to the secret room in the Collins family mausoleum to rob the graves. Expecting to find the family jewels, he opens the chain coffin, but instead of jewels, he finds a big pain in the neck. Barnabas makes Willie his slave and introduces himself to the Collins family as a descendant of the Barnabas from the 18th century. He also begins to put the bite on the local waitress Maggie Evans and plans to turn her into his lost love, Josette. Dr. Woodard is baffled by Maggie's strange symptoms and calls in Dr. Julia Hoffman to help. Julia goes to Collinwood to investigate, but also has secret motives of her own. It's a pretty groovy vampire story overall, with some neat twists, but it's still very much a soap opera, which actually makes it scarier. Soaps stretch out their stories, focus on relationships, and make you feel like you personally know the characters. It feels like we personally know Maggie Evans and David Collins. And a lot of those characters have been on since the beginning, so they're actually really well developed for side characters. And the reason why that is scarier is because when one of them is in danger, like when Barnabas is trying to kill Maggie, we're able to actually care about Maggie. And when I was watching it, I was on the edge of my seat yelling, "Escape, Maggie, escape," because I didn't want her to die. You could break her dad's heart. You won't escape, Maggie Evans. You can never escape. The stretched out story affects the plotting too. Take the Dr. Woodard subplot. Over the course of about 100 episodes, we see this rational man of science take the journey of being puzzled by these strange marks on the neck to finally discovering the supernatural truth of Maggie's illness. After Hoffman gets his look at Maggie's blood slides, there may be other words more appropriate. Not mysterious? Frightening, for example. Terrifying, perhaps. And closest of all, impossible. In a movie, this would be done in an hour, and it would seem preposterous. But because it takes so long here, it actually takes place in a believable time frame. And because it feels real, it's suspenseful. Along with the soapiness giving Dark Shadows chills, so does the show's fabulous villains. The horror genre has some of the greatest villains out there. And of course, Dark Shadows has Barnabas Collins, played by the Shakespearean actor Jonathan Frid. Barnabas is a great old school vampire. He's charming. He's evil. He has great fashion sense and a haunting look. And Jonathan, being a Shakespearean actor, brought those classical qualities to the character, so he really feels like a 200-year-old vampire. And the other thing that Jonathan brought was this incredible sympathy and inner guilt to the character. And there are times, like when he's looking for the ghost of his little sister Sarah and can't find her, that your heart just goes out to him, even though he's a killer. You dare mention Sarah's name to me? Lonesome I am and evil. You can mock me for that. But leave my pain alone. And is the perfect complement to the complex villainy of Barnabas is the pure villainy of Jason Maguire. While he's blackmailing Elizabeth, he is cunning, sneering, and hilarious. He's a genuine threat, but Dennis Patrick also brings such a life to this subplot with his great line delivery and his chemistry with Joan Bennett and John Carlin. And now, Woody, I need you to do me a favor. I need a little steak, just until things start clicking again. I don't have much, a few bucks maybe. Oh, Woody, I have that myself. I need more than that. A lot more than that, Willie. And it just may be that you know where to get it. No, I don't. Sure you do. And I'll tell you exactly where. You take your right hand, and you dip it in. You close your fingers, Willie. Then you pull it out and you put it in your pocket. Then you take your left hand, and you do the very same thing. Around the time that Jason Maguire departs this story, Grayson Hall as Dr. Julia Hoffman makes the scene. Julia is a strong and strange doctor from Wyncliffe Sanitarium who practices hypnotism, wants to cure Barnabas of his vampirism, and also secretly falls in love with him, which was actually Grayson's original idea. And she is also the most theatrical character on the show. Barnabas! Barnabas! I'm out of sedatives! Sometimes her acting is funny, but it also works for a creepy doctor character. Because there's a similar acting style that was done in the Universal Monster movies. And that also puts her right on the same spooky page as Barnabas. If you are willing, perhaps we can meet tomorrow at my place. Well, I'd like that very much. Shall we say tomorrow morning? I'm afraid that wouldn't be convenient. Oh, well, how about tomorrow afternoon. I'm afraid I won't be available until tomorrow evening. Ah, yes, I understand completely. Very well then, I look forward to it. Sparks fly whenever they're together, and strangely enough, both characters were originally going to be killed off. Barnabas was going to be staked, and Julia was going to fall into a vat of acid. But they were both so popular that they became the heroes of the show. Along with the villains making Dark Shadows special, so does the show's strange style. Dark Shadows is what I like to call fun scary. There's spooky music, real suspense, and the actors explore the tragedy of their characters. But they also have fun with the horror. There's crazy nightmare scenes and giant bats attacking people. Adding even more fun is the fact that the show was filmed straight through with no post-editing, which was the way they filmed soaps back then. So first of all, you get the high energy of a live performance with the actors. But also, you can catch the cast and crew making the occasional mistake. Like when Roger Collins and Joe Haskell were searching for David in the Collins family mausoleum. David's not here, shall we go? Oh, wait a minute. I'd like to have a look around. Several of my ancestors are buried here. My ancestors are buried here. It takes a pro to recover from ancestors, and that's what they were. The style of Dark Shadows is what makes it so interesting and entertaining, and why I still enjoy it so much. The first Barnabas storyline on Dark Shadows took a vampire story, combined it with soap opera, and made it into something unique unto itself. And I give this storyline 4 coffins out of 4. Thank you for watching Dusty Old Movies, and have a fantastic day!